know me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah, talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Shakur, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. You all know they're protesting today against Trump and his nefarious administration, and it looks like it's mostly MAGA out there, as you know, should be, because those are the people that put him in office. Okay, so we're going to go live to some footage and see what they have going on, because you know we're nosy, at least I am. So with that all being said, let's see who's in here. Pearly, Tylene, all right, Khalid Herline is here. The sweetest one, Diane is here. All right, let's get into it. Nikki LeVar is in the house. Nene, all right, Penny is here. All right, Lillian X, Deronda. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, D Major. Okay, let's get this party started. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
I'm the Chief Political and Advocacy Officer for the ACLU, the American Civil. I'm the Chief Political and Advocacy Officer for the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, and a proud Washingtonian. I'm so thrilled to be here with you, my community, today, doing the most patriotic and American thing that we can do. Peacefully, lawfully, protesting the Trump administration's abuses of power and exercising our First Amendment rights. After all, Our country has a 250-year-old history of disagreeing in public, and we are not about to stop now. For more than 100 years, the ACLU has defended our country's freedom, especially the First Amendment freedom of speech. It's not just our opinion that everyone is entitled to their beliefs without fear of punishment. It's in our country's Constitution. It's the cornerstone of our democracy. Our basic American freedoms are not something that any president can take away from us. So why is Trump trying? What is he so afraid of? This moment is so much bigger than a political disagreement. It's about standing up for our rights and the future of democracy. The democracy we want is a country of freedom, a country of equals, a country of due process and laws that apply to everyone. Not a country where masked ICE agents kidnap people out of their beds in the middle of the night, where they zip tie terrified children together. No. Not a country that tells schools and universities to teach ideology instead of facts. And certainly not a country that sends armed troops into our cities to scare us into silence. I refuse to allow that version of our country to take hold, and I know you do too. The courage that we are creating here today across the nation is contagious. It's powerful, and it's exactly what they're afraid of. I want to tell you something I've learned. The best way to protect our freedom is to act free. I was in my hometown of Buffalo, New York, a couple months ago, and I saw a new billboard up from the Buffalo Public Library. It said, "Free people read freely." Free people read freely. 4 words. I was so struck by the simplicity and the power of that statement, and by the fact that the public library felt the need to make it. Free people read freely. They think freely. They protest freely. They act free. The best way to protect our freedom is to act free. Thank you for doing that today. Thank you for your courage. It's powerful and it's contagious. We live in a democracy and we are going to act free. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sarah Parker.
My name is Sarah Parker, and I'm the Executive Director of Voices of Florida and a National Coordinator with 5051. But most importantly, I am a Southern Black woman, a proud Floridian, and a mother. I was taught to speak up for what's right and to stand against injustice, to place my little hands over my heart and to believe liberty and justice for all meant something real. But what I once believed America was is being crushed under the boot of this administration. I should be at home with my children, raising them to believe in the promise of this country, not standing here demanding the rights that should never have been up for debate. I am honored to be here today, but this is not what I dreamed of. I never dreamed I'd be standing on a stage like this while millions of people are forced to march and protest peacefully in the streets because we refuse to stand by while this country slips into the iron grip of authoritarianism. And I ask this administration now, access to abortion care. It damn sure ain't the people and their families being ripped apart by deportation and kidnapped in the dead of night. It's not our LGBTQ communities and BIPOC communities being criminalized just for existing. And it damn sure ain't the people marching for justice while the National Guard is unleashed on peaceful protesters in their own streets. Contrary to popular belief, the fabric of this country wasn't woven by oligarchs, corporations, or power-hungry politicians. It was stitched together by workers, by immigrants, by black and brown communities, by women, by queer folks, and by people who refuse to stay quiet in the face of injustice. This movement was made by the people. This movement, No Kings, was named by the people. This movement is the people. And newsflash to this administration and for the people who need it, this country was built on protests. And some of the most important changes in our history happened because everyday Americans just like us. And now, those in power are trying to unravel it thread by thread, taking away rights, stripping away dignity, rewriting what freedom actually means. They've tried to silence us with fear. They've tried to gaslight us with lies. And politicians have stood in front of the cameras, smugly, I may say, peddling smear after smear. Because it's easier for them to smear the American people than to recognize what they're doing to this country. And where I come from, we call that cowardice. We refuse. I refuse to let this become our reality. It is our duty. It is our right as Americans to dissent when democracy is under threat. Let me be clear. Democracy dies when we are silent. But democracy is reborn when we speak with courage. And authoritarianism cannot withstand truth. And it crumbles under the power of love and dissent. And as leaders before me have said, courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act despite of it. And for what it's worth, I am proud of each and every courageous leader that is taking the streets today. We are peaceful because we know that's how real change is created. We are fighting because we love our communities and we love our country. We are using our voices because it is our God-given American right. And anyone who says otherwise is not only lying to the American people, they are lying to themselves, and I don't know how they sleep at night. And like we say in the South, a hit dog will holler, and I'm hearing a lot of hollering come from the Capitol building. The American people are pissed. And I would like to say before I go, I want to thank every last one of you. I want to thank all the organizers with 5051. I want to thank Political Revolution, who's a national partner. But I want to thank our children. I want to thank our teachers. I want to thank your hearts for doing this and being out here in the street when they tried to make you afraid. The message today will be crystal clear and they won't be able to ignore it. There will be no kings in America. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Thank you.
Please welcome to our stage Oliver Marino from Immigrant Legal Resource Center and member of El Colectivo de Familias Migrantes, and Afeni Evans, community organizer with the Fair Budget Coalition.
Thank you. Good morning. Earlier this year, as the Trump administration began its anti-immigrant attacks from the White House, the Colectivo de Familias Migrantes, a group of DC families and organizers, came together to find community and ways to protect each other. We knew what was coming and why we needed to fight back, organize.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there for a second. We'll go back to it in just a minute, but I want to talk about how Trump has pardoned George Santos. Okay, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, so this is breaking news. This came out just a little bit ago. Okay, so let's talk about it because George Soros, former congressman, who was convicted of fraud and identity theft. Okay, so in August of 2024, Santos pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges, wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. So in that plea, he admitted to a range of wrongdoing, including filing false reports with the Federal Election Commission, okay, the FEC, to inflate campaign fundraising numbers. Now, stealing identities and charging contributions on credit cards without the authorized cardholder's consent. This is what he was also doing, claiming unemployment benefits fraudulently while working and running for Congress at the same time, making false statements in his House of Representatives financial disclosure forms. And as part of his plea agreement, Santos was required to pay restitution, okay, in the amount of $373,749 and to forfeit $205,000. Now, at the time of his plea, the statutory range for sentencing was a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 22 years in prison. So on April the 25th of 2025, a federal judge in the Eastern District of New York sentenced Santos to 87 months in prison. Okay, that's 7 years and 3 months. Now, the sentence also included a term of supervised release, reported as 2 years after his imprisonment. In addition to the prison term, the court ordered the previously noted restitution of $373,750 and the forfeiture of $205,000. Now, reporting indicates that the sentencing judge emphasized the seriousness of his misconduct and its impact on the public trust. Now, Santos had been a U.S. representative of New York's 3rd District from January to December of 2023 before being expelled by the House of Ethics and Misconduct Concerns. Okay, he was required to report to prison by July of 2025. His case has been widely covered in the media as a dramatic fall from office involving fabricated biography elements, campaign finance fraud, identity theft, and other misconduct. So the 87-month sentence is relatively severe for a nonviolent fraud or an identity theft case, reflecting both the scale of the fraudulent conduct and the fact that he was indeed a public official. The restitution and forfeiture orders ensure that beyond prison time, Santos must make financial amends for his victims and the funds that he diverted. Because he was a former member of Congress, his case highlights issues of accountability for public officials. All right, so now let's talk about Trump commuting him. That's him right there, for those of you who don't know who he is. Okay, so Trump commutes sentence of former U.S. Rep. George Santos in federal fraud case. So President Donald Trump said on Friday that he had commuted the sentence of former U.S. Rep. George Santos, who was slated to serve more than 7 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to fraud and identity theft charges. Joseph Murray, one of Santos's attorneys, told the Associated Press late Friday that the former lawmaker was released from the Federal Correctional Institution in Ferreton, New Jersey around 11 p.m. and was greeted outside the facility by his family. Now, the New York Republican was sentenced in April after admitting last year to deceiving donors and stealing the identities of 11 people, including his own family members, to make donations to his campaign. Honey, he was doing whatever he could to win. I mean, how desperate and thirsty was he? Okay? Now, he reported to FCI Ferreton on July the 25th and was housed in a minimum security prison camp with fewer than 50 other inmates. George Santos was somewhat of a rogue, but there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. This is what Trump said on Truth Social. He said that he had just signed a commutation releasing George Santos from prison immediately. And then he said, "Good luck, George. Have a great life." Santos's account on X, which has been active throughout his roughly 84 days in prison, reposted a screenshot of Trump's Truth Social post on Friday. Now, during his time behind bars, Santos has been writing regular dispatches in a local newspaper on Long Island, in which he mainly complained about the prison conditions. In his latest letter, though, he pleaded to Trump directly, citing his fealty to the president's agenda and to the Republican Party, saying, "Sir, I appeal to your sense of justice and humanity, the same qualities that have inspired millions of Americans to believe in you." This is what he wrote in the South Shore Press on October the 13th. He said, "I humbly ask that you consider the unusual pain and hardship of this environment and allow me the opportunity to return to my family, my friends, and my community." Santos's commutation is Trump's latest high-profile act of clemency for former Republican politicians since retaking the White House in January. Now, in late May, he pardoned former U.S. Rep. Michael Grimm, a New York Republican who in 2014 pleaded guilty to underreporting wages and revenue at a restaurant that he ran in Manhattan. He also pardoned former Connecticut Governor John Rowland, whose promising political career was upended by a corruption scandal and 2 federal prison stints. But in granting clemency to Santos, Trump was rewarding a figure who has drawn scorn from his own party. After becoming the first openly gay Republican elected to Congress in 2022, Santos served less than a year after it was revealed that he had fabricated much of his life story. So on the campaign trail, Santos had claimed that he was a successful business consultant with Wall Street. Okay, he had Wall Street cred, so he lied and said anyway, and a sizable real estate portfolio. But when his resume came under scrutiny, Santos eventually admitted he had never graduated from Baruch College or been a standout player on the Manhattan College volleyball team, as he claimed. He had never worked at Citigroup and Goldman Sachs. You all remember I reported on this man because he was just a liar who lies. Okay, that's enough about him. I'm not going to get into any more of the specifics, but Trump has pardoned him. Quite frankly, I wish that he had not. Coco said, "Now Santos has to kiss Trump's arse forever." Okay, absolutely what I was thinking, beloved. Okay, Troy Parker says he's stuck in traffic because of the protest. I know. That's why I said I'm not going anywhere. I left and went somewhere earlier this morning. And then when I thought about that protest, I said, let me just turn around and go right back home until it's done. I already had run 2 errands before I realized the day. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, let's talk about Mitch. Y'all know Mitch fell, right? Y'all know Mitch McConnell fell again. Did y'all see it? Once in the chat if y'all saw Mitch McConnell when he fell the other day, trying to avoid answering that darn question. He's not fooling me. Okay, he's not fooling me. He knows darn well he fell on purpose, okay? He knows he fell on purpose. He didn't want to answer that darn question. All right, so anyway, let's get into it. Just Anticipate said again, yes, ain't that a Mitch? But let's check him out.
What the heck is this? Mitch McConnell is asked whether or not he supports ICE, and then he immediately falls to the ground?
Excuse me, Senator? My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
Now, I don't know about you, but I looked at that one of two ways. One, if this is how he's operating while in Congress, then it's time for him to hang it up, because he's not doing us, the American people, any kind of help when he can't even get to and from where he's supposed to be without falling to the ground, because obviously there's something serious going on. So if this is seriously what he's doing on a regular basis, Mitch McConnell, hang it up, champ. It's over. Really. We don't need to watch this happening in Congress at a national level. Now, the other angle is maybe he did this on purpose. And if he did do this on purpose because he does not want to speak out against Donald Trump and these ridiculous ICE raids that are going on all over the country, which are terrorizing everybody, including American citizens, then that's a problem, because what it's doing is he's trying to get sympathy from us as opposed to just answering the question as to whether or not he does support Americans being terrorized while our government is shut down, and then Donald Trump is raking in trillions of dollars for himself and his billionaire friends. Yeah. In either case, ladies and gentlemen, it's just another example of how the Republican Party continues to fail everyday Americans.
Kev, did you eat my leftovers?
Father, could you take me to a soccer tournament that's like 3 hours away?
Kev, come help me take my braids out.
I'm so done. Now, you all know that man fell on purpose. Y'all know he fell on purpose. And you know how you know that he fell on purpose? Because, because first off, he was holding the black guy's hand. And then he let go of the man's hand right as the lady starts asking the question. And then when he knew, at the very moment he knew he was going to throw himself to the ground, he grabbed the man's arm again to brace the fall so he wouldn't fall hard. He's not fooling me. We're going to see it again because I'm going to what some people said about him on TikTok. Okay, and so anyway, please pay attention. But now here's the thing. Here's what Nancy Pelosi had to say when they asked her a question. She didn't fall. She went in. Okay? Nancy Pelosi went in. Hold on. Likes up, beloveds. Likes up. Everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. They said this is Mitch after the fall. They are wrong for that. Not a sympathy act. That's exactly what it was.
Mitch with the motherfucking glitch. Now, how the fuck did you fall? I watched the video and I seen that you was wearing them astronaut steel toe Tims. There's a lot of support here. Okay. And your ass still fell. Like stocks in a company when black people no longer support it. And then got the nerve to fall in slow motion, which pissed me off even more because you had all this support right here. Okay. I need y'all to take Mitch to the house. Okay, sit him down, get him a coloring book, some old man milk, because this is the prime example of working to death. He had ample support in the motherfucking shoe. He had more support than white women when they want to weaponize their tears. Okay, these big ass bottomless chrome shoes. Okay, these bread loaves, super thick deep dish 11s. And his motherfucking ass still can't stand up, right? You ought to get tired of the flow giving you a class action ass whooping. Mitch, Time to retire.
Poor Mitch. Poor Mitch. He tried it. But you all know that he has fallen so many times, I can't even keep track. Remember that time he fell and he had that darn bandage on his head looking crazy? And then they're asking him questions and he never even would respond. Y'all remember that?
Is your head okay after that fall? Senator?
Mitch said he had. Okay, D Major said a deer in the headlights. Isn't that exactly how he looked? I mean, I really don't think that he needs to be still working. At this point, it's time to retire. He's going to mess around and hurt his hip.
Mitch McConnell, the former Senate Majority Leader, has fallen down a small flight of stairs after exiting the HUD Secretary's vote at the Capitol. His office is saying it's a lingering effects from polio and one of his legs, childhood polio, and that he's not going to be affected by it. They did not talk about any injuries at all. But, you know, a fall at any age is not good, but at 82, man, really not good.
Yeah, that was a sad one right there. That was a nasty spill. Did you all see how he was crawling to get up? That was not a good look. Poor Mitch. Poor Mitch. Okay, let's go back to the protest and see what they're talking about. Let's see what they're talking about. One box said, Queen, good morning. I will be doing my own No Kings protest. No King don't end on the No Kings doesn't end on the 18th ninja style. Okay. I know that's right. I'm gonna let the people that voted him in office go out there and deal with it. They thought it was going to be all gravy when they thought he was just going to go in on people who look like me. Okay, but see how that turned out. And thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
And now welcome to the Snow King stage, an American science educator, engineer, comedian, television presenter, inventor, keynote speaker, and author. He is a respected champion of scientific literacy who has challenged opponents of evidence-based education and policy on climate change, evolution, and critical thinking. Please welcome Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
I forgot I was muted. Says, I bet Mitch the Glitch ain't never felt like that when pushing policy, pushing policy to put money in his pockets. That's how soft he falls on a bed of money after stealing all the money from the people. Hashtag Shady Pines. Hashtag no window. No, that's right, beloved. Okay, that sounds very accurate as far as I'm concerned. All right, thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
We love that song, Hello, DC! Fellow citizens, it is wonderful to see so many of us out here today. We are here for the same reason our ancestors gathered here in 1776. We want our government to run without a king. Our government is based on ideas.
Measurement says, have you seen the video DHS edited 6.8 million views and all the black men and families have death threats? I haven't seen that. How are they allowed to edit AI on government videos now viral? That's interesting. I haven't seen anything about that. If you could send it to my email, beloved. Okay. Thanks for your insight into the topic and your contributions to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
Embodied in the Constitution. Among other remarkable features, it guarantees our freedom to speak, as we're doing here today. Rather than doing one monarch's bidding, we have agreed to form a democracy, to work together, and to follow the laws that derive from it. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. As many of you know, I am a native Washingtonian. I grew up here within the city boundaries. And when you grow up here, the affairs of the federal government are very much a part of your life. I remember well sitting on my father's shoulders and waving to astronauts as we as a nation celebrated their accomplishments back in 1964. In 1964, that was the first year my parents could vote for president as citizens of the District of Columbia. We still do not have voting representation in the district. Someday, perhaps. I remember well Martin Luther King's dream and Resurrection City, the plywood structures on the National Mall erected to house protesters who came to town demanding equal rights and opportunities, barely a month after Dr. King had been assassinated. I remember well the Vietnam War. The mall was shoulder to shoulder, much as it is today. Traffic stopped citywide. The protest movement expanded. There were protests around the country, and the war was ended. We are protesting in the same fashion today. Only today, the stakes are higher. Rather than abandoning a war against an elusive, perhaps sometimes imaginary foe, we are confronting the possible end of our republic. We are here to tell our lawmakers that what's going on in our government is wrong. They must stop the abuses of this petulant president and his circle of sycophants. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. This president and his associates cannot tolerate dissent. To them, our free speech is frightening. They are arresting people and denying due process in courts. They tried to silence television hosts. They're trying to fire indict civil servants, prosecutors, judges, even their own cabinet members. But in this land, these sorts of actions are not new. In 1776, our ancestors had had enough. They declared independence from a king by means of a document stored safely right over there on Constitution Avenue in the National Archives. Although it was conceived 249 years ago, the Declaration of Independence describes a train of abuses connected with an absolute authority, a king with absolute power. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. Their king had refused to honor the law. Their king had refused to let lawmakers be elected. The king had made court judges dependent on his will. They cited the king sending, quote, swarms of officers to harass our people. Their language referred to, quote, cruelty and faithlessness scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous of ages. Their king was trying to, quote, render the military independent and superior to civil power. Our founders even censured King George for cutting off trade with all parts of the world. Do these actions sound familiar?
All right, beloveds. All right, so I think we've heard enough of that. Let's continue on. Okay, I'm gonna go to a couple of more of these videos about Mitch and Nancy Pelosi going off, and then we got to talk about these stories I have. Okay, so likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. I don't know if this protest is going to get anything accomplished. What do you all think? Do you all think it's going to be worth it? What say you? Okay. And you know, this is buyer's remorse, because many other people out there protesting are the same people who voted to get that fool in office. Things didn't turn out the way they had hoped and expected. And now here they are.
Statement.
My mistake, beloveds. I didn't even realize I didn't have the audio on, the sound on. Hold on.
I'm just gonna totally freeze up on your ass, or I'm just gonna fall out. So whenever you see Mitch McConnell in the hallway and he get asked a question and he just resort to just falling out, that is his statement. It's better for him to almost break a hip than to give any kind of comment on what's going on in this.
Poor Mitch. This man is, listen, do you all remember when Mitch McConnell was standing there and they asked him about re-election and 2026, and he didn't say a word? Didn't say a word. Is that the video I just showed you all? Maybe it is, honey. I'm multitasking. Hold on, pay attention.
On January 6th. Shut up. Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
Democrats need to keep fighting back just like Pelosi did there. Shut these people up if they're going to keep gaslighting.
Did y'all hear what Nancy told her? Nancy swirled around and told her, shut up. Why are you here acting like you're serious with Republican talking points? Not Republican talking points. Okay, and see how they told that lie? Measurement said Nancy got gangster. Okay, sitting there talking about she refused the military. No, they wouldn't send the military. Okay, that's what that was. They wouldn't send them. Now here's Mitch when they were asking him a question. He was just standing there dumbfounded. This is how you know this man is too old. And here's the thing. I really don't like the fact that somebody can get to be this age, not in their right frame of mind, and yet they're still allowed to have a say-so in how policy and law are created. This is absolute madness.
What are your thoughts on running for re-election in 2026?
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
Oh. That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator Benny.
Yep.
You're going to need more than a minute, honey. You're going to need a lot more than a minute. Okay?
Okay.
This is a hot mess.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
I'm just going to try to say, listen, She said, does somebody else have a question? Please speak up. Trying to act as though he couldn't hear the questions. Oh, he heard it. Okay, he heard it. Y'all hear this? Danger said he doesn't have any thoughts. Anyway, let's go to what Nancy Pelosi had to say about the government shutdown. And then we got to move on. This is a mess.
For you that Speaker Mike Johnson had to say today.
Why, for the good of the country, do you need to change your strategy to negotiate a deal with them?
It's a great question. Manu asks, why don't I change my strategy? I don't have any strategy, Manu. I'm doing the right thing, the clearly obvious thing, the traditional thing. That's exactly what Chuck Schumer voted for in March of this year and gave impassioned speeches was the right and only thing. I don't have anything to negotiate.
It's very clear what there is to negotiate. Yes. You've been in that position before. Yes. What do you make of someone as Speaker saying, I don't have a strategy?
Well, they do have a strategy, and that is to give tax breaks to the richest people in America at the expense of America's working families. This is sinful almost that they're taking about more than $500 billion out of Medicare. People don't talk about that. Mm-hmm. Raising the cost of the Affordable Care Act, depriving millions of people from Medicaid, children, seniors on long-term health care. So what? So that they can tax breaks to billionaires and at the same time send billions of dollars to Argentina at the expense of our farmers. So they have a strategy, and it's what it's always been. They only passed one bill. It's important to note that they only passed one bill when they had the majority before the first presidency. They gave a tax break to the wealthiest people in America, adding $2 trillion to the national debt. They've doubled down on it now. They're giving a $4 trillion tax cut, adding $4 trillion to the national debt. I said President Trump is the worst president in American history for America's children. He's taking food out of their mouths with the SNAP program, health care away from them, education, children with special needs, just reducing the number of people who work there from over 100 to barely 20 for children with special needs. And he's, on top of it all, giving them $4 trillion in national debt to pay for, to give a tax break to the wealthiest people in our country. This is not, a budget is a statement of values. What is important to our country should be how we allocate our resources. This isn't what this is.
Well, she wasn't telling any lies. That's all facts and truth, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so now let's get into it, because here's the thing. This black couple, they must be crazy, because they tried the same BS that Susan Smith tried back in the 90s. And here they are right here. Okay, the 6-month-old baby that belonged to them, they reported it missing, saying that someone stole the baby, kidnapped it, or whatever, only for the baby to be found dead. And guess who killed it? Well, they say the father did. Okay, so let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on, beloveds. I'm pulling up my receipts. Okay, so here's what they say. Parents of missing 6-month-old found dead appear in court. Oh, hold on. That's not the one I want to go to. That's the last one. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Now, as I said, they reported that the father was supposedly robbed and someone stole the baby. Now, if somebody's trying to rob you, why would they take the baby? They sounded just as crazy as Susan Smith did when she told that same lie. And then there was a Mexican couple, if you all remember, I reported on last month sometime, where they had done something similar, talking about somebody came up and said, "Hola," and grabbed the baby.
6-month-old baby in Clayton County. Baby Nakai reportedly died. Now we know of blunt force trauma to the head. Both parents are facing charges. Atlanta News First reporter Yasmina Alston is live at the Clayton County Police Department. And Yasmina, the baby's mom and dad also faced a judge there today.
Doug, that's right. Baby Nakai Pratt's parents were both in court this morning and both were denied bond on most of their charges.
Witness statements, digital forensics on Antonio's phone led us to that side.
On Friday, Clayton County investigators addressed the tragic discovery of a baby's body in a trash bag. Police revealed 6-month-old Nakai Pratt died from blunt force trauma and was found with a head injury. Officials said they came across the child's body with the help of cadaver dogs.
While the outcome of this search is not the one any of us hope for, our department remains fully committed to seeking justice in baby Nakai's name.
The parents of the infant were denied bond on most of the charges they're facing in this tragedy. His father, Antonio Pierce, and his mother, Nicolette Pratt, appeared before a judge Friday morning. Pierce is facing several charges, including murder with malice, while Pratt is facing charges, including making false statements. Police originally said Pierce's story about his son's disappearance didn't add up when the baby was first reported missing on Sunday. It's a case that has shocked and saddened this entire community, including the department.
They felt this case just like the community did. I think that's the one unifying thing about this unfortunate tragedy is that our community came together to help us. We felt that they were hurting and we ourselves was hurting.
And meanwhile, the parents will be back in court in November. Live in Clayton County, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.
Okay, so that's a darn shame. So like I said, the husband said that he got robbed and that someone came and stole the baby or whatever. And the baby was actually found in a dumpster in the apartments that they live in. How stupid are they? It was literally in the dumpster where they live.
New information today about the death of a 6-month-old boy in Clayton County. Police today revealing what caused baby Nakai's death. The announcement coming during a press conference this morning. 11 Alive's Marissa Sarbach was live inside and she joins us live now. What did we learn new today, Marissa?
Danielle, we learned quite a few new, very disturbing details in this case, including that blunt force trauma by an object to the head was actually the cause of death for baby Nakai Pratt. We also learned that his little body was found discarded in a trash bag in somebody's backyard on the side of the apartment complex where he was first reported missing, where his father, Antonio Pierce, lives. Now, these key new details from the Clayton County Police Department explain that malice murder charge for Antonio Pierce. He's facing almost a dozen charges, including felony of cruelty to children, false reporting of a crime and false statement, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, tampering with evidence, and concealing a death. Nakai Pratt's mother, Nicolette, was arrested on Wednesday for party to commission of a crime, cruelty to children, false statement, and obstruction of an officer. Crime scene investigators found the 6-month-old after 3 days of searching the apartment complex where Antonio lives using canine cadaver dogs and bloodhounds. They started searching as soon as they started to see inconsistencies in the father's first report of an alleged robbery and kidnapping of Nakai on Sunday morning.
When officers arrived, they spoke with Antonio Pierce, who reported that he had been robbed at gunpoint and that as suspects fled, they took his 6-month-old child, Nakai Pratt, from his car seat and left in an unknown direction. As detectives began investigating, inconsistencies with Mr. Pierce's account quickly emerged. Based on evidence gathered, investigators determined that foul play was involved and identified Antonio Pierce as a suspect.
Now, we are still missing one key detail in this case, and that is a motive. At this point, detectives tell us they're not releasing that information because they don't want to compromise the investigation. We also know, Danielle, as you said, Nicolette Pratt and Antonio Pierce were both in front of a judge this morning at the same time this press conference was going on, and we do know that both of them are expected back in court respectively on November 10th and November 12th. For now, reporting live at Clayton County Police Headquarters, Marissa Sarbach for 11 Alive News.
And Marissa, the motive isn't clear right now, and you've been covering this story from the very beginning, and it still seems like there's a lot of confusion around how the mother was involved in this whole thing and what her charges mean. Did you get any more information or clarity from authorities today about that?
They're still being pretty tight-lipped on her involvement in this, but one thing we did note in the press conference this morning, Danielle, is that Nicolette Pratt, that mother, has now another charge in this case, and that's the felony cruelty to children. So they have added that on as well. Again, still waiting to hear exactly what her involvement is, but that main charge that she was looking at was also concealment of a body, and another that was false statement to police. So it seems as though police believe that Antonio Pierce is the main suspect behind this and that Nicolette aided in this case.
All right, thank you, Marissa. A lot of questions still to be answered.
Okay, so that's all nefarious. At the end of the day, they're going to get exactly what's coming to them. And I don't know why they killed the child, if the child was screaming, crying, or something, and they got annoyed. I don't know. But supposedly there were two of them. They supposedly had twins. And so now I believe family members have the other child in their possession. But that is very sad. And for the mother to sit there and help him cover it up, yeah, she needs to go to jail too. She absolutely does. Okay. And now with that all been said, let's talk about this story about Sakiyna Thompson. Have you all heard about this story? Sakiyna Thompson, she's supposedly on trial. This incident happened back in 2022. Okay, arrest made in New York City in murder of a 23-year-old Tamarack woman. So an arrest has been made in New York City for the murder of a 23-year-old woman. The Broward Sheriff's Office said 28-year-old Sakiyna Thompson was arrested on Wednesday by New York City police in the Springfield Gardens neighborhood in Queens. Now, the sheriff's office did not say what led to the capture, but Thompson is charged with first-degree murder. Okay, it's not known when she will be extradited. Friends and family members identified the victim as Kayla Hodgson. Okay, an arrest affidavit obtained by CBS 4's Peter D. Inch said that Thompson was demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object with a premeditated intent to cause death. And so it happened at the Tamarack Village apartment complex at Northwest 93rd Avenue and 57th Street around 3 p.m. on July the 13th. Now, the sheriff's office said they received a 911 call about an unresponsive woman on a second-floor apartment, and when paramedics arrived, they discovered that Hodgson was no longer alive. On July the 25th, a warrant was issued for the arrest of Thompson. Residents at the complex said they were relieved. One person says, "I'm very happy to hear about it because we were scared. We heard a lot of different stories about different people, and I happen to live on the floor above her, and I'm very happy about this arrest. It makes me feel more secure that they finally arrested somebody. Making an arrest makes me feel a lot more comfortable. I feel terrible that this happened. It should not have happened to anybody." That's what Sheila Hernandez says. Now, they say residents have been hoping an arrest would be made. On July the 14th, Frederick Thomas, who lived near Hodgson, said, "We need some justice. The murderer needs to be caught. It's as simple as that. It's a life cut short. I feel bad. My prayers go out to the family." The sheriff's office has not said what led to the fatal stabbing. Well, supposedly this woman killed this lady over a man. Okay, that's what they say about it. So I'm going to go to this video where she's in court. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
2 hours of testifying in her own defense, Sakiyna Thompson told jurors she was jealous of the relationship her boyfriend had with the victim, Kayla Hodgson.
A little, I guess you could say, jealous and insecure.
Thompson admitted to flying from New York to Tamarack in July of 2022, in part to confront Hodgson about the relationship, hoping to convince the other woman to stop. This video shows Thompson showing up unexpectedly at Hodgson's Tamarack apartment at 4 o'clock in the morning. When Hodgson let her in, Thompson says a conversation about their love triangle quickly turned sour. Thompson says Hodgson hit her over the head with a hookah.
She just starts grabbing my hair and punching me, and I'm on the floor. I'm kicking. I'm trying to get up to fight back at this point because now it's a fight.
Thompson was 2 months pregnant at the time. She told the jury she had no choice but to grab something sharp and defend herself. Thompson testified that when she thought Hodgson was dead, she tried to clean up parts of the crime scene with Lysol wipes and paper towels. Thompson told jurors she went to Hodgson's apartment uninvited to talk woman to woman about dating the same man. Thompson claims Hodgson attacked her.
Punching me.
Punching you where?
My face.
Where on your face? Point to it for us.
I don't remember, but everywhere
You
on my
don't
face.
remember where she was punching you in your face?
In my face.
I mean, this is why you killed her, right?
No.
Right?
No.
It's not?
No.
You didn't kill her because she was fighting you?
No, I killed her because she took the glass from the hookah and slashed me across my stomach.
Thompson says she was 2 months pregnant at the time. She says Hodgson cut her stomach with a piece of glass. Thompson grabbed the glass and then blacked out. She allegedly awoke to Hodgson dead on the floor. Gruesome autopsy photos of Hodgson's body show she was stabbed dozens of times.
I wasn't really walking over the blood, I was walking in the blood.
You walked in the blood?
Yes.
With what shoes?
The BB shoes. I changed my shoes.
Thompson admitted to changing into the victim's clothes, cleaning up some of the crime scene, and being too scared to call police. She also threw evidence in the trash.
No, she's getting close enough because my jacket was cut up.
Okay, your jacket was cut up?
My jacket was cut up.
Okay, and what'd you do with that jacket?
Threw it away.
In the months leading up to the killing, Thompson admitted to getting upset when Hodgson blocked her on social media.
So isn't that crazy? She got upset because the girl blocked her on social media, like the woman's obligated to talk to her or whatever. Then she shows up at this woman's house. She went there to kill the woman. Then she wants to tell the lie and act like the woman was the aggressor. Ma'am, okay, that's exactly why you came there. You literally flew to go and start mess with this woman for a man that doesn't even want you. Oh, so crazy. But let's talk about the lady at the turkey leg hut. Okay, Nakia Holmes, because she's lost her darn mind. Okay, she's gotten arrested. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, she got arrested for helping the man that she was dating elude the police or evade the police. The drama with Houston's turkey leg hut is getting real ugly. First turkey leg hut owner, Lynn Price, was charged for allegedly setting a rival bar on fire. Now, Lynn Price's real name is Lindell. Now his ex-wife, Nakia Holmes, faces her own felony charges. So when Houston's turkey leg hut opened in late 2017, nearly everybody and their mama either visited, wanted to, or couldn't because the line spanned down the street and around the block. Now, I reported on this on Facebook when this place first opened because they were popping. They had so many people standing in line around the building. There were people who didn't look like them that were hating on them and jealous because they were making all these hundreds of thousands of dollars in months. They started complaining about saying the turkey smoke was toxic, that there was too much cars and not enough parking spaces. Just everything they could. They literally got together, a group of people that don't look like them, got together, put their money together, came up with like $20,000, hired a lawyer to get these people a restraining order put against them so they couldn't go to their own business. They were so jealous. And now look at these people. Look how they have turned out. So sad and so disappointing. But anyway, I know that the haters are all laughing at them. And rightfully so, because they brought this on themselves. Okay, so anyway, when they opened it in 2017, it was the lines would be around the block. It became a hot spot for residents and celebs alike. Okay, that is until health code violations, dress code backlash, divorce, and accusations of arson closed its doors for good. And now one of the co-owners are facing new felony charges. Authorities have been staking out the home of Nakia Holmes, co-owner of the now defunct Turkey Leg Hut, okay, who served up stuffed turkey legs until her restaurant with her husband, Lynn Price, closed in 2024. Now, investigators suspected that she had been harboring a wanted felon after they received a tip. And when cops saw her leave from her Cypress house, she was pulled over. Now, while conducting the traffic stop on Wednesday, October the 15th, Holmes was asked about Jonathan Sazin, okay, and the fugitive's whereabouts. Now, Sazin is, I think his name is Sazin. Sazin is accused of going to his ex-girlfriend's home, forcing her into his car, kidnapping her, and beating her with his fist and a tire iron for 6 hours on October the 8th, all while he was out on bond on other charges. Okay, and those were felonies too, by the way. This is all so crazy. Now he, according to reports, dropped the ex-girlfriend off at a hospital after she promised not to call the police. She's lucky to be alive because from the looks of her, I mean, she looked horrible. Now, back at the traffic stop, Holmes allegedly denied knowing him and insisted no one else was inside her home. But cops say that wasn't quite the truth. Now, while deputies were questioning Holmes, they were alerted that Sazin was trying to escape from her house by jumping over a back fence. He was arrested, and so was Holmes. Sazin, 38 years old, was charged with aggravated kidnapping and aggravated assault, and Holmes was slapped with hindering apprehension of a known felon. And that's also a felony. Holmes's bond was set at $10,000, and click2houston.com says she's still in custody. Her next court appearance is Friday, October the 17th. Her bond was $10,000 and she's still in custody? Don't tell me this lady didn't have $10,000 after all that money they made at the turkey leg hut. This is financial ruin. This is all crazy. Now, this is just the latest controversy between the turkey leg hut's co-owners in recent years. Lindell Price, also known as Lynn, her ex-husband, is accused of paying and conspiring with others to pour gasoline and set a rival bar on fire in 2020. Now, this is all so stupid. He should have known he was going to get caught. That's the same thing that happened here in Atlanta back in the 90s when the person who owned Club Nicky's had a rivalry with the owner of Magic City, and they set Magic City on fire, but it really didn't do a lot of damage, and the guy got caught and went to jail. I think that's how that story went. Okay, so anyway, so he set the rival bar on fire in 2020. Reports indicate that his alleged motive was related to a business conflict with the bar, with Bar 5015's owner, Stephen Rogers, who was a former Turkey Leg Hut and business partner of Price's. Now, the establishment exploded, but eventually reopened and is now fully operational. And Price was charged with conspiracy to commit arson of a commercial building and conspiracy to use an interstate facility to commit arson of a vehicle. The second charge came after he was indicted for allegedly paying the same folks to set a stolen blue 1975 Chevy Nova ablaze in April of 2020. He is being tried next month. Honey, this is all a bunch of ghetto-fied foolishness, okay? This is all crazy. And here's the thing. Claudette said, just stupid. Yes, it is. It really is. How do you go from being such a revered business owner, both of them, to just financial ruin? Now y'all here with felony charges and just about to be all up in prison. Well, he is anyway. I find it all interesting. And let me just tell you all something. The lady, hold on, I'm gonna show you all the guy that she's in trouble for doing all of this for. I don't know why she risked any of it, okay? Because it couldn't have been me, honey. And then after the way he beat that other lady, if y'all saw how that lady was looking, it was absolutely egregious. Absolutely egregious, okay? I'm not even lying. Hold on, let me send this to my email real quick. Byra said, it does. Question is, what am I going to? Oh, you're thinking about what you're going to cook. OG Patrice said, a violent man like him will unalive you for sure. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't kill that woman because he probably would have. He probably thought that she was so afraid of him that she wouldn't go to the police. But she did. And he beat the brakes off of her, just so you all know. I'm going to show you all the bruises in just a second. Hold on. These bruises look awful. I don't even know if I can show this. I don't think I can show it. Sorry, guys. I don't think I can show it. These bruises are in some places that I really can't show. I just realized that. So anyway, but they're awful. Okay, the bruises are awful. I promise you that. And here's the guy that did it right here. And also, this is her mug shot. Nakia got herself arrested over a no good thug. That's her mug shots. And here's the no good dude right here. All right. And when I tell y'all he beat the crap out of that lady was unrecognizable. Do you all hear me? That lady was unrecognizable. Tasha K has all the pictures because Tasha K claims that the lady that got beaten by him so viciously, the ex, that woman had reached out to Tasha K after he beat her behind the first time. And then she sent Tasha K some pictures and was telling her what happened. And then when he found out that she talked to Tasha K, that's when he beat her with the tire iron and then dropped her off at the hospital. And if y'all saw how she was looking, I don't know. That picture it really does not look like the same person. It really, but Tasha K said that was her. It just does not look anything like her. He beat the mess out of her. He needs to be under the jail. And for Nakia Holmes to be sitting up there harboring him, lying for him and telling the police that he's not at her house after she saw what he did to that woman, that's absolutely crazy for me. But let's go to this last. Now, this story is about a New York City mother who was beaten to death by her hospital roommate. Did I tell you all about this? It seems like I told you all about this, but I saw OG Patrice put it in the chat. I could have sworn I told you all this days ago. Maybe I forgot.
Investigation is underway at a hospital in the Bronx after police say a 55-year-old woman was beaten to death at Lincoln Hospital. Her heartbroken family is demanding answers. They say they know who killed her. What they don't understand is why that person was released by authorities. News 4's Jessica Cunnington is live in Morrisania with the grieving family's fight for justice. Jess.
Yeah, Gilma, Cynthia Van's family gathered here at the Sherman Avenue Community Garden because this is where she spent a lot of time gardening and just spending time with her neighbors. And they stood right here today on her birthday and they asked how in the world she went into a Bronx hospital to get care, to get better, but ended up dead. Cynthia Van would have turned 56 years old today. She was a daughter, a sister, and Tanisha's mother.
I just want to fight for justice. I'm going to continue to fight until justice is served. My biggest support system,
Nearly 2 weeks ago, her mother died, her family says, after being attacked inside Lincoln Hospital, where she was being treated for a liver condition.
My child was barely noticeable. The Lord had to tell me that that was my child laying in that bed. Some doctors talked to us, nothing about how she got there or what happened to her.
Van's family and law enforcement sources say her hospital roommate, Raquel Houghton, punched her in the head multiple times early on September 10th. The injury is so severe, Van needed brain surgery. Prior to the procedure, Van's family says she reported the attack to hospital staff. She died days later, the medical examiner ruling it a homicide.
She not only just said it verbally, but she also did it in a written statement. So they knew that she was attacked for 4 times. And they took Raquel out of the room, but no arrest was happening. After some time has passed, she assaults a hospital staffer.
The Bronx District Attorney's Office confirms Houghton was arrested for assaulting a hospital aide and the attack on Van. The DA says there wasn't enough evidence at the moment to charge Houghton with the attack on Van, but prosecutors say they're still investigating. Van's family and legal team launching their own investigation and demanding leaders take action.
We will investigate. We will leave no stone unturned, and we will find out what failures took place.
The Bronx DA's office tells me that bail was set on Houghton in the attack on that hospital aide, but they say that a judge decided to release her a week later, and that was against the DA's request. We now know that the family says they met with the NYPD this morning. They're also in touch with the DA's office. They're calling on Lincoln Hospital to cooperate with the investigation here. We have not been able to reach Lincoln Hospital for a new statement on this or to Raquel Houghton either. But earlier this week, when we asked them specifically about this case, a spokesperson for Lincoln Hospital said New York City Health and Hospitals, Lincoln, is committed to safety of its patients, staff, and visitors. Live in Morrisania, I'm Jessica Cunnington, News 4 New York.
That is a darn shame. Okay, that is such a darn shame. Prayers and condolences to the family of the victim. That is so sad. That hospital is going to have to come out the pockets. Okay, they're getting sued. That is absolutely egregious. Let me tell you something, honey. You have to be careful because there's crazy people everywhere. Okay, there is crazy people everywhere. Literally, you're not even safe in the hospital. You literally get killed in a hospital in your room. But see, whenever I have been in the hospital, I don't like to have somebody in the room with me anyway. I like to have a private room. I had a room with this lady once, and she was an elderly lady. Okay, she was an elderly lady who didn't look like me, and she kept like hacking, coughing, and I was concerned because I'm like, what does she have? Is that bronchitis? Does she have a cold or flu? What's going on here? And then I noticed that a nurse would come when the day shift was ending and the next shift started, a nurse came and like sat there and was watching her. And I said, excuse me. And I would hear the lady talking to herself and stuff too. And it sounded real crazy, the stuff she was saying. But so this nurse came and like sat there at the foot of her bed watching her. And I asked the nurse, I said, excuse me. I said, why are you sitting here watching her? She said that she have to. They wanted her to keep an eye on the woman because they said that she seems to have multiple personalities, which I call demons. I'm sorry, get me the hell out of here real quick. The lady said that she had multiple personalities, and they wanted her to watch her every night. They said they have a nurse come and sit there and watch her to monitor her and make sure she doesn't do anything. But y'all think I'm gonna stay up in here? Honey, I got up out of that bed and went to the front desk and told them outside of the hallway. I went to the nurse's station and told them to get me another room, a private room. I'm not staying here with this lady. She got whole demons talking about different personalities. Yeah, I've heard them. Okay, I was wondering why she was over there talking to herself, saying crazy stuff that made no sense. But y'all got me in here, honey. If y'all don't get me up out of here, I know something. Okay. Anyway, all crazy. So that's very sad that somebody's in the hospital and they get beaten to death like that. That is just awful. And also, let me just tell you all, I looked for an update for the story that I told you about the 5-year-old little girl who was attacked and assaulted by the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. And there are no updates as of yet. The 8-year-old wasn't charged because of their age. And the 9 and 10-year-old are facing a litany of charges, as I told you all the other day. But you all know what I found out? Those little children don't look like me. Did you all know that? Because they had not showed pictures of the children who did it. But so I found out that the little children, they don't look like me. Now I need to know where the parents are and where did those children learn something like that from? Okay? Where did they learn something like that from? Something so egregious. Anyway, it reminds me of that story that I reported to you all a couple of years ago. If you remember, about 3 years ago, there was a 10-year-old little girl. She was a cute little girl, a little blonde-haired girl, 10 years old, looked like she was as sweet as she could be, but had murdered a 6-month-old. Do you all remember that? Was at the babysitter's house, was bothering the baby while the babysitter went to do something, went to get the door, or went down in the basement or whatever. And she picked the baby up, dropped it accidentally, so she says. And then the baby started crying and she couldn't get it to stop crying and thought she was going to get in trouble. And so she beat the baby in the head with something. I can't remember what it was, but killed the little baby. It's all crazy.
Like, where do kids get this from? Y'all can't tell me that's not demonic. Okay, I am pretty sure that is nothing but demons. Janice said, I did hear about that. Yeah, I reported on it. Okay, so anyway, I'm out of here. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, if you don't get your notifications, check the channel because you all know I go live every day. I know they don't always send out the notifications. Okay, they don't always send out the notifications. They be hiding lying about the views so the queen can't make her coins. That's why I say thank God I don't make my living off YouTube, honey. I'd be up Inch Creek without a paddle. Okay. So with that all being said, Songwriter Sunny says some things we inherit naturally, but we have parents who discipline our behavior to know right from wrong. Exactly, beloved. Exactly. Some people are just born as bad seeds, whether they have good parents or not. You're right about that. Lily X said, not a 10-year-old murderer. Oh, honey, that was nothing new. You don't remember the little 10-year-old boy with the red hair who, I think he was over in the UK. He killed the little 4-year-old neighbor that lived across the street from him. Yeah, there's kids who are killers, honey. I've read lots of stories about these children who kill. It's really scary. There's a black guy named Craig Price who was a whole serial killer, had murdered about 3 or 4 people at about the age of 15. First one he killed when he was 13. It was somebody in his neighborhood. Stabbed this woman up almost, I want to say like 90-something times. Just a devil. Just a whole devil. And he would have gotten away with it. Except for he did it, maybe he broke in like 2 different homes and killed the people inside in his neighborhood, okay? The police saw him coming home from school. He had bandages on his hands, and the people were all stabbed up. So that's what first caught their attention. Because, if you stab somebody multiple times, there's usually going to be some sort of injuries to the hands, where the instrument that you're using, whether if it's a knife, scissors, or whatever, shears, it's going to get slippery with all of the blood squirting out. So you're liable to accidentally cut your own hands, which he did. And that's how they caught him. But 13 years old, he killed a woman and her 9-year-old daughter in the first house. And the next one, I think it was a woman and her 2 daughters. He was just a whole killer. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Okay, enjoy your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause